Can you talk about the law that says to get a passport, you now have to recognize Israel's right to exist?
The usual way, if you are naturalized in Germany, you have also, if you are not born, I mean, in Germany, you have the blood law. It's not the law of the soil. I don't know how you call it. In the USA, for example, if you are born on a USA soil or
Yeah.
land, you are a USA citizen. In Germany, you don't have to be born here. You can be born in Yugoslavia, but if your grandparents are German, you have this German blood and you're entitled to have German pass.
Okay.
If you're naturalized, and this is what people which are migrants like me can go through, if you live here long time and whatever, and you know German and whatever, you can get the German pass, you can apply for that, and then you have to sign that you are accepting the democratic order of Germany.
Okay.
Okay, which means also, you know, the German constitution, whatever, makes sense. Yeah.
Sure.
You don't have to, but it's a problem because you don't have to do that if you're born with a German blood. So it's a discrimination against people who are not born with to this German blood, um, ancestors, heritage, whatever, dynasty. So what they did now is that in certain states in Germany is a federation of many states. In some states, there is or one state that inserted it, is that in this democratic order, there is also the fact that you have to recognize the right of Israel to exist, which is, you know, it's not a legal term, it's nothing. It's symbolic, yeah. But if you're a Palestinian, you know, and you have to sign something like that, of course, then the symbolic has a meaning. And it's also, you know, the symbolic of, I mean, I wanted to become a citizen of Germany, not a
Right.
citizen of Israel. Yeah, if I would like to support the Israel or whatever, or the laws of Israel or whatever, and I could stay there. I mean, I didn't come to Germany in order, you know, to stay in Israel. And also, of course, other people. So it's totally crazy that in order to be naturalized in one state, you have to adapt, you know, ideas about another state. But Germany sees itself as, and now I will talk in more psychoanalytic terms. And Germany actually swallowed, I would say, Israel. So in order, and this is the memory culture that Germany is perpetuating in the last 20 years, in order not to be, you know, busy or deal with
Mm.
the German, you know, crimes against humanity, and against, they found, you know, Israel as an object of kind of redemption, forgiveness,
Right.
whatever. These are the Jews, and these are the Jews that are not really gone because they are part of Germany now, and they treat Israel like, you know, a proxy state of Germany, and therefore, so they treat Israel like a proxy of Germany, like a state within a state, kind of, and like that they can protect the Jews. I mean, they treat us like, you know, like we live in a natural reservation. It's not really a state, Israel, who is obliged to international law and, you know, rules of, you know, human beings and political structures. So we just, you know, in natural reservations where these species or
Right.
the people that were saved from the German monster are still existing and they have to be protected. Yeah.
But and as you said, it's kind of like they're making Palestinians pay for their crimes.
Yeah. They make Palestinians, first, I mean, the Palestinian cause is disturbing for this happy end story. There is
Ah,
no redemption, actually.
right.
Yeah. And of course, now when Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people, so you cannot see Jews, and for them, Jews and Israel is the same,
Right.
but you cannot see Jews as the perfect victim of Germans. And this perfect victim is always good. And they have to see, the Jews are normal people and that they are able to commit genocide if they have the
Yeah.
power, if under some circumstances and so on, and especially if they are supported by Germany and the USA that gives them the weapon and the international, support, psychological and material support for that. The Germany is saying, yeah, we will support Israel with this genocide, also with this trial in the
No.
ICJ.
Right.
And South Africa is doing the important work of doing this claim. And we have to remember also that Germany was one of the last countries that supported apartheid. And therefore it's important to know, I mean, Germany together, it's the same constellation of USA, the UK and Germany supporting South Africa until the last days of apartheid. Nelson Mandela was not able, after the end of apartheid, was not able to come to Germany. And also he was still considered to be a terrorist in the USA. And
Right.
it was the same mechanism. I mean, it was not allowed for Nelson Mandela to get into Germany also after apartheid ended, also in the USA. So it's not about German guilt as for, Israelis and Jews. That's the cover story. It's about German interests. And also, if we are talking about guilt, there are many ways to deal with guilt. It's not that if you feel guilty for something, then you just, let the people, if you even if you think that Israel is so important because we had committed an enormous crime against the Jewish people, which is true. I mean, it's not about German guilt, because if you think it is a German guild, then it should be, you could also do it in another way. Yeah, you could say also, as for South Africa, we had as German, as Nazi Germany, a racist policy against people, so we cannot support apartheid. Or we had a racist policy against Jews and we committed a crime against the Jewish people. But we look at Israel and we see what's going on there. It's not that it looks very good also and safe for Jewish people in Israel. So it's not that sending them weapon until now. This is what they were doing during the last more than 20 years. It's not that it's helping to do more of the same, but I don't really care about us, as
So
we
when
see
you
also, here in Germany.
so when you say that it's not about guilt, it's about interests. What are those interests?
Yeah, I mean, the interests are first of all material interest. We are talking about the German industry. But the interests are also, and we see it now also in the States, there is a hegemony of the what we call the West, which means also, USA and Germany is not doing anything which is not according to US policy.
Right.
This is also the case with Ukraine, for example. Unlike France, for example, France or Italy, they can do, they can say, yes, we will do that, but they take more care of their interests. Germany is doing exactly what the USA is expecting Germany to do. And they have this hegemony war, I would say, or struggle against, China, India, Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, or Russia, one would say now, and other, countries that are getting stronger and stronger. So they have to keep their power. And the people in Germany are not in accordance with these German policies. So if you look at polls, for example, it's something like 60% think that what Germany is doing as for the Israel Gaza policy is wrong. 20% say that they don't know, and only something like 20% are supporting the government. So it's not that they have the people behind them, but they do their own thing. I would say, and we are talking. This is what's so dangerous. Also, we are not talking about a right wing. Um, Party. We are talking about the Greens, the Social Democrats, and the Liberals. And when we see that the right-wing parties are on the rise, so they are just, opening the road
Right.
for them, and they are tearing, it so that it will be easier for the right-wing party to just to drive there. And it's not only about Israel Palestine, it's about actually reversing the year 2015. So in this year, Angela Merkel let something like 1,000 people from
Mm.
Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan coming to Germany. They were welcomed also by many people. Germany is also suffering, like many other countries in the West, from a lack of people that will work here, and need people. But they try to do it in two in parallel ways, because they don't want these bad Arabs and Muslims. So they make it easier for people, for European people, from people from the USA to come and to be naturalized, and make it harder for people who are not the good migrants that will just work and shut up to come, because Germany have still a good welfare system. So many migrants are coming to Italy, maybe they land there, but they try to come to Germany, because
Mm.
in Germany you get as a migrant, and if you get an asylum, you have good conditions in comparing to other places. So they try, to push back the people that they cannot push back on the border.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a bureaucratic way. They try to push them back. And this is also what the chancellor is saying. We will expel people big time.